So they didn't give us much in this final trailer, but then I didn't expect very much. With this being the last episode, I expected them to hold the cards close to the vest, so to speak. So we only get what appears to be things happening at the very beginning of the next episode. So we start out with Jon and Davos walking through the rubble, surveying the wreckage. We have an interesting skull on the left side, kind of maybe looks like a kid, maybe another body in the front there. So it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And we have a fire going in the window upstairs behind them. So we know that this is still pretty soon after things have subsided, and it's still very, very smoky there. So yeah, this is pretty soon after the battle ended. And then after that, we go into a shot with Tyrion doing pretty much the same thing. He looks like he's walking through the streets of the city, kind of surveying the damage. We can see there is a ton of smoke. There's ashes flying around in the air. There's some blood on the wall to the left-hand side, and just everything's a mess. And again, things still on fire. So the next scene is interesting because it's the Red Keep, and the way they did the trailer, it appears that Tyrion is looking at what's left of the Red Keep. And you have to imagine, from his standpoint, he freed his brother in hopes of ending this whole thing. And I think up until the end, he was trying to save the city and save his brother and sister. If he could spare their lives, and if he could spare the lives of the people in the city, he wanted to try to do that. And unfortunately, he obviously failed. And you've got to be thinking that he's looking at the Red Keep, wondering now where Jaime and Cersei are, and figuring that they're probably gone. So he's the last Lannister left. He's the last of his line. And not only that, he betrayed Dany. And will she or won't she find out about him releasing Jaime, and what is his fate going to be? Is he even going to try and go back and talk to her? I don't think, and I said this in my other video, I did a series primer video, and I said this in that one as well. If I were Tyrion, I don't think I'd be trying to talk to Dany. I would be avoiding Dany. I might be making my way up north, because I would definitely be avoiding Dany. And the next scene they give us is Arya from behind coming upon some of the Dothraki horde. And it looks like it's still smoky here too. And this scene is a bit interesting to me because it seemed that the end of last episode, like she was riding out of the city. So something has made her turn back around. And I know a lot of people interpreted her saying thank you to Sandor and walking out of the Red Keep and not going after Cersei as somehow she's no longer going to be an assassin or something like that, or she was going to go back to being childhood Arya. That seems very, very unrealistic to me, and I really hope the show does not take it in that direction. To me, one of my favorite things about Arya is the duality of her character now. I love the fact that she's Arya Stark, but she's also an assassin. I don't want her to lose that. I don't want her to... I don't know. I don't want her to kind of go soft after all these years and everything that's happened. It wouldn't be realistic to me for her to do that. So in any case, something has made her turn back around and come this way. And so she's walking behind the Dothraki, and we get another image of her. So we get 2 images of Arya out of the 9 scenes that we have. And this one here is her face in between the Unsullied, couple of Unsullied soldiers. So obviously Dany's forces are gathered after the battle, and we have Arya out here looking for, I think she's going to be looking at Dany. She's looking for Dany to come out of the Red Keep to make some kind of speech about who knows what she's going to say. I don't know what someone says after they indiscriminately slaughter hundreds of thousands of people. I have no idea what someone says after that. But Arya doesn't look very pleased. She doesn't have quite the same level of dirt and blood and stuff on her face as she had at the end of last episode. So I don't know if we've got a little time in between here or not, but either way, Arya doesn't look pleased at all, but they could very well be misdirecting us and making us think that, oh, Arya's going to be the one to go after Dany. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. I don't know if she would consider Jon's feelings on the matter before she added Dany to her list or not. I'm not quite sure, but it's kind of interesting to me that Arya we see twice in these 2 images, and then Tyrion we see 2 times. So I'm assuming they're both going to play a large role. But the next image we go to before we get to Tyrion is Dany's Unsullied army. And man, there's quite a few of these guys left considering the battle in episode 3, but okay, we'll roll with it. I talked a little bit in my series primer episode about whether or not I thought that the Unsullied might stick around or not. They are a volunteer force. They don't necessarily have to, but this appears to be right after the battle to me. So they're here now. Then we get our second shot of Tyrion, and obviously his facial expression does not look good here at all. We don't know what he's looking at, but this is definitely not a happy, positive expression. So remains to be seen. He looks like he's still surrounded by snow, which now we know is ash. This also speaks to some of Dany's earlier visions where we had pictures of her in the throne room, and there was a lot of debate at the time whether it was snow or ash. And I think we can be pretty certain that it is now ash, because Tyrion is surrounded by ash, everyone here is surrounded by ash. But the Dothraki are happy, so we have someone that's pleased. So the conquerors have conquered, and they are just delighted about it. And then in our final image, we have Dany getting ready to address everyone with whatever speech she's going to say. And I am very interested to hear that, just because how does someone behave after they have killed thousands upon thousands upon thousands of innocents? I can't even wrap my brain around that. And also, even for all of the people here to be that happy about winning, even her followers, even the Dothraki and the Unsullied, that's kind of interesting, but they are very happy. And we can see in this image, we still have fire, we still have smoke. So this is pretty much immediately after the battle. And that's all they've given us to look at for the trailer. But we know, since this is the last episode, that some of what happens has to happen in Winterfell, or the characters in Winterfell have to come down here, or characters down here have to go up to Winterfell. Something has to happen where we wrap up the rest of these characters. So we have 80 minutes left. Final episode. Can't wait to see what happens. And I will, of course, be reviewing that episode after it comes out. And I'm also going to do a few more videos on reviewing the season as a whole, and maybe talking a little bit about ways that I think that they could have done things a little bit differently and made things a bit better. And if I have the time, I may do one or two talking about character development or things like that. I have a few ideas. It just depends on how much time I have to create videos. But if any of this sounds interesting to you, please do hit that subscribe button and the little bell down below so that YouTube notifies you of when I put out new videos. Thanks so much for spending the time with me today. Hope to see you all back again next time.